Welcome to The Firing Line. The Firing Line radio show is sponsored by Bullseye Sports in Riverside, Cannon Safes and Gun Vault Safes, and Andrew Phillips Financial Services. And now your host, Philip Naiman.
Hello folks, welcome to another edition of Firing Line Radio Show. This is Philip Naiman. It's a wonderful Saturday afternoon out here. Hopefully you're at the Rahagis Safari Day out here at Rahagis in Corona. But if you're not and you're listening to our show, I want to introduce some of our guests we have here today. I've got Big John, Belladonna, J-Dog, and then Brian Keenan from Socal Guided Hunts. These were all people who went out with us last weekend to the Hamageddon 2013 in King City, California. We did a large group hog hunt. We got 12 for 12. We're going to talk all about that in our later segments. And also joining us on the line here, I have Tom Pedersen. Tom Pedersen's California liaison for California Rifle Pistol Association. So we're going to get into that in just a second. But as we always start off our shows, we like to talk about a few different things. Number one, check us out on Facebook. Firing Line Radio Show on Facebook. We also have a new link directly to the website. And I know this might sound too simple and stuff, but it's firinglineradio.com. So if you actually go to firinglineradio.com, you'll find us there also. It's a wonderful thing, this new technology stuff that we're working on. Oh, this Saturday, our calendar of events, obviously we have Rahagis Safari Day. It's still going, Youth Safari Day. It's going till 4 o'clock this afternoon. If you're within the sound of my voice, you can make it there. If you haven't been there already, it's a great event where they have introduction from everything from 4-year-olds on up to the outdoor sports. Shotgun shooting, fishing, carving, kayaking, pistol shooting. It's just a great introduction sports for all youth. They have the Sensory Safari, which Safari Club puts on, and that's where they have introduction to different animals across the world. I mean, how else would you explain to a 4-year-old what a rhinoceros looks like and feels like unless they could actually walk up to it and touch this thing? So they have taxidermied animals inside this entire room. So it's a great thing. Now tomorrow, which is Sunday at 1 o'clock, again at Rahagis, we have the Break the Clay Day. It's Firing Line Radio Show. We're sponsoring this event. It's great for beginners. If you haven't shot shotgun or would like to have some proper instruction, we've got professional coaching put on from Socal Top Guns. That's Jim Porter's group. They were out here last time. They did a great job with Brian Whitman and Ben Shapiro and Alicia. They taught them some great tricks. So we're going to be shooting out there. It's $35. You get 50 targets, 50 rounds of ammunition, gun rental, and professional coaching. So that's $35 for Sunday afternoon, at 1 o'clock, again at Rahagis, RAAHAUGES.com. That's the common spelling for Rahagis. Okay, so that's it for our calendar of events. That's all we're doing this weekend. Obviously, we're a lot more things going on. But Tom Pedersen, you're the California liaison for California Rifle Pistol Association. I want to bring you up and you tell us what's happening in the great state of California in Sacramento.
Well, thank you. Appreciate being on the show. We have obviously a number of bills we're monitoring. As the lobbyist, I think right now I'm monitoring about 53 bills in the legislature that impact either firearms ownership or hunting. And there are a number of bills, some of them I would consider some of the worst. If you'd like, I can talk about a few of them in particular.
Let's go for that.
I think one of the real troubling bills is Senate Bill 374. That's by Senator Steinberg. That's the bill that would pretty much ban the future sale of all semi-auto rifles, whether rimfire or centerfire, that either have a detachable magazine or a feeding device, such as a tubular feeding device, like in the old Marlin Model 60s. Anything that holds over 10 rounds in that feeding device would also be considered an assault rifle under their so-called assault rifle provisions. So those are very troubling because persons would have to register those firearms they had in possession currently, and they would not be allowed to sell anything with a detachable magazine or a tubular magazine, as we discussed in the state of California once the bill became law in 2014. The other bill that I think is a problem is Senate Bill 396. That's a bill that would prohibit possession of anything other than magazines with 10 rounds or less. There's no provision for grandfathering all those magazines that were in possession prior to January of 2000, when the original high-cap mag ban went into effect. So that's essentially a confiscation, because persons would either be required to get them out of state, sell them, or turn them into law enforcement outside of the state of California. So that's a problem.
Isn't there another provision on 396 that if a magazine could accept more than 10 rounds?
Yeah, that's kind of it's a poorly crafted bill anyway. And so the question of the day is, currently magazines, if they can accept more than 10 rounds, and they either put a block or a pin in them so that they're altered, those are considered to be legal magazines under the provisions of this bill, with still no real regulatory spelling out of what it would exactly mean. Yeah, that could be a real problem.
So, and here's why that's an issue, is you take something like a Glock 21, okay? Glock 21 is designed to have a 13-round magazine. In California, we have a 10-rounder with a spacer inside of it. So if the magazine could hold 13, even though it does hold 10, that's now an illegal magazine, and therefore your Glock is pretty much useless, isn't it?
That's pretty much the case, because as we all know, most modern semi-auto handguns that are sold, and the majority of handguns sold now are semi-autos, they have anywhere between 11 and 19 round capacity. And so that would preclude a number of firearms, especially ones that you weren't able to get a standard 10-round magazine for.
Exactly. So as far as these bills are coming out, they're swinging for the fences. They're trying to make everything illegal with one or two bills, right? It's catch-alls. What are the chances of this passing?
I think it's very early, and there's a lot of steps we still have to go through. We still have the bills to go through the second house, and then the other issue is we have the governor's office, and the governor has options regarding veto and such. And then the other thing
has he made any
regarding Senate Bill 374, an outright ban on all of the most commonly used semi-auto rifles in current manufacture throughout the nation means that under the Heller decision, as we know, the court discussed persons being able to possess commonly used firearms. So these firearms that are listed here, such as the Ruger 1022, would be a firearm that there have been millions made, and there are millions in circulation throughout the United States, and there's probably well over millions in California at this point. So you're getting into a situation where this may be a case of, if this were to pass and be signed, it may be first in line for a court case at the Supreme Court level.
But it would still be law in the meantime.
In the interim, unless there was a stay, I mean, there's all sorts of different options that the attorneys could take to attack the issue, but I'm sure that would be something that would be given great consideration.
Given Jerry Brown's predilection, what are the chances of him vetoing anything?
Well, the governor's a moderate, and he's obviously very thoughtful about things. I think he takes them one at a time. He's somewhat introspective anyway, so I would think that a lot of these bills are going to get a great deal of scrutiny by the governor's office.
But would they be signed?
Well, that remains to be seen. Like anything else, I wouldn't want to speculate, because the governor may have his reasons for doing one way or the other, but I think he's going to be somewhat interested in at least looking at things. I don't think he's going to be inclined to sign bills just because someone thinks it should become law if there's no reason to consider the bill.
Now, you said there's a lot of things still happening, but isn't it true with our legislature, they kind of wrap everything up, they push all the bills together in the month of August, and kind of it's like making sausage when it comes to this legislation?
Well, yeah, what will happen is each house will hold the other bills back and threaten to not allow those bills out. And I think what's important, the most important thing, is for individuals to make sure that they're connected, such as to our website, to crpa.org, so that when our alerts come out and such, that they're making the phone calls and writing the emails and the letters and making sure that their voice is heard in Sacramento, because that has a big impact on things.
Absolutely.
More than a lot of people realize.
Right. Now, Tom, tell us, we have about a minute left here. Tell us about one of the victories you've had.
Well, we've had what I would consider to be several. I mean, the bills that were introduced for ammo taxes, we had two. We had AB 187, which was a 10% tax on ammunition, and we had Assembly Bill 760, which was a 5 cents per round tax. Those bills are held in suspense. Now, the only rule of the legislature is there are no rules, and until the end of the session on September 13th at midnight, nothing's for sure. But those bills have failed their deadline, and they're sitting in suspense, which is a pretty good indication that the so-called two-thirds supermajority really didn't exist, because there are a lot of folks that are moderate Democrats that don't want to be tied to tax increases, and that's exactly what these bills would be.
Right. Tom, I want to thank you for what you're doing up there in Sacramento. You can find out more at crpa.org. That's California Rifle Pistol Association. If you are not a member, you should be a member. I'm a member. So, folks, crpa.org. Tom Pedersen, thank you very much for what you're doing. Keep up the good fight. We're going to come right back here. We've got Big John, Belladonna, and J-Dog. These are three of the people out there on our King City hog hunt last weekend. So we'll talk about that right after this.
This portion of the Firing Line Radio Show is brought to you by Bullseye Sports in Riverside.
Hey folks, welcome back to Firing Line Radio Show. This is Phil Naiman here, and I've got some great guests with me today. They're incognito, but I have Big John, I have Belladonna, and I have J-Dog here, along with Brian Keenan from Socal Guided Hunts. And we're going to talk a little bit about a couple of news stories that happened this last week before we get to our wonderful weekend that we spent together last weekend. In Evansville, Indiana, a gentleman out there. This was kind of interesting to me because Cannon Safes is one of our sponsors, and one of the companies Cannon owns is Gun Vault, and that's exactly what this happened to be. So let's read the story here real quickly. Evansville, Indiana, 10:30 p.m. Matt Fugate was in his bedroom when he heard an unexpected commotion. When Fugate ran to investigate, he was shocked to find two men in his home assaulting his brother. I'd be shocked. Would you be shocked at that?
Very.
Okay. One of the suspects was reportedly brandishing what he thought to be a gun, but turned out to be a pellet gun. The soft-spoken resident of Evansville, Indiana, knew what he had to do. I raced for the gun vault and had my gun in my hand in 5 seconds. He quickly ran back to the scene of the commotion and told the intruders not to move, keep their hands up. The power dynamic now considerably altered. John was able to call police. I just had somebody kick down my door, he told the operator. My brother has him at gunpoint on the floor. So, who do you think does these home invasion robberies when people are home? How about criminals? WFIE TV names the two suspected intruders as 22-year-old Paul Lukac and 24-year-old Justin Henschel. Apparently, stayed put until police arrived. So you hold a pistol on people, they kind of do what you say, right? Twitter feed appeared to belong to Lukac, showed him having a strong interest in selfie photographs and marijuana. They thought they were brilliant and they were going to get away with it. So this is a wonderful thing. You have your house is your castle. You're able to protect your home. This guy specifically said he ran to the gun vault, pushed the buttons, had the gun in 5 seconds, was able to solve this issue. But other than that, restored safety. So congratulations to him for that. So gun vault, folks, you want to take a look at that. Now, next, Eric Holder. Big John, is Eric Holder one of your personal favorites? I'm sorry, I didn't write that.
He is not.
What time do you have to be there?
Eric Holder's had a lot to say about this, what happened in Florida, the Trayvon Martin and George Zimmerman fiasco, and the rulings and civil rights. He's also had a lot to say about other things, and he's been very active in some things like Fast and Furious, just to name one or two of those things. As we talked about last week, the world's most deadliest sniper, Chris Kyle, killed 165, but the death toll to Fast and Furious right now is at 210. So Eric Holder's outpacing the Marines' best sniper for body count by 60 people. Anyway, he blasts the stand your ground laws. Now, stand your ground.
I don't want to do it. You can find another way to do it. I'll try to record it.
And do you have a right to defend yourself?
Yes.
Exactly. So, everybody's saying that if you feel threatened, you can shoot somebody. That's not exactly true, especially in California. We have a much higher standard, but you really have to kind of prove that you were in danger, or you believed you were in danger, or somebody else was in danger. You can't use a firearm for defense of property in California. That's not defensive. So it has to be something physical on that. But Eric Holder came out and said that you do not have the right, basically, to defend yourselves. That it simply has sown dangerous conflict if people defend themselves from criminals and criminal actions. J-Dog, how do you feel about that?
If people defend themselves from criminals and criminal actions.
Okay, this is radio. You have to actually say something
about that.
You know, it's self-defense. If you had a situation that came down, say in your home, you know, would you use a firearm to defend yourself if somebody was in danger?
Of course, I'm in danger.
Okay, so in that situation, you have an attorney general, the number one law enforcement person in the entire nation, saying that that's just, you're just being dangerous and reckless when you're defending yourself. Does that make any sense to you? Okay. Well, like I said, you know, Eric Holder, he is my least favorite person in this entire administration. It seems like this administration scandals, the next one just gets bigger, and there's a comment to that on our Facebook page if you want to read that, about the size of the scandals. They seem to get larger, one after the other. Anyway, so let's put this stuff away. Let's start talking about some of the fun we actually got to have last weekend. Brian, why don't you start us off?
Anyway, so let's go.
Well, it was a great weekend. We got up there Friday afternoon, went to the ranch and met up with the rest of the guys, and then we all headed out for a little bit of hog action. Unbelievable time. It was a lot of fun. I would do it again.
Now, you have a little group that you do some guiding for.
Yeah, I own Socal Guided Hunts, and then we partnered up with you on these hunts to finish filling the spots.
Yeah, I own.
We ended up selling out pretty much all the spots that you had available, so that made for a great time of packed action.
So we had 12 hunters come out this weekend, and we ended up with 12 pigs. So 12 for 12. Last time we were out there in May, it was 14 for 14. So yeah,
we had 12 hunters come out.
That's a lot of pigs, and everybody was done by Saturday.
Last time we were out there in May.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Friday there was two people, yourself and myself. We ended up getting our hogs Friday, and then we helped everybody else.
Did you have to pay the guide extra if they got us filled first?
Well, the other guys are in here. I probably shouldn't say nothing exactly what happened, but
Keeping an eye on you, Brian.
yeah. And
Watch the handshakes.
I did end up getting a big hog, nice trophy hog Friday. That was the biggest one until John got his gun in his hand. He ended up topping the hog that I shot, but it's all fun and games.
Okay, so on Friday, we headed out there, got in the vehicles. Tell us, for the rest of this section, just tell us about your specific hunt, what went on with you.
It's all fun and games.
Okay,
Well,
so on Friday,
we got out there, like I said, got it to the ranch, and then ended up heading out to the field. Our guide that we had, JD, was an awesome guy. We were driving around, ended up spotting a hog
We got out
in
there,
a draw,
like I said, got it to the ranch,
went to
and
the
then
draw,
heading out to the
passed
field.
over the hill, and then
Our guide
climbed up
that
to
we
the
had,
top of that
JD,
hill
was an
and
awesome
looked
guy.
down
We
into
were
that
driving
draw.
around, ended up
You went up about 100
spotting
yards
a
on that
hog
hill. You were nowhere near the
in a
top.
draw.
Come on now.
No, we walked up and over that draw, that hill, to get to that draw to look down in there for that hog, and couldn't see nothing. JD was beating around trying to get the hogs to move, and we ended up spotting one sleeping under a bush, and JD put me right on it. Couldn't ask for a better guide, and
JD was beating
it
around
was,
trying to get the hogs to move.
you can only see top of the snout, the eye, and the ear, and that's the only shot I had to make. And
JD put me
I
right
made
on it.
I shoot my custom AR-15 and 243
You can only see
WSSM.
top of the
There's a
snout,
video
the
also
eye,
of this
and
hunt
ear,
that I
and that's the only shot I had
GoPro'd
to make.
myself. If you'd like to check out, it's on
I shoot my
Socal Guided Hunts on
custom
Facebook.
AR-15
There's a link to the video.
243 WSSM.
There is a warning on the video
There's a
because
video also of
obviously
this
we
hunt
were
that I,
hunting, so just so you guys
GoPro'd
are aware of that.
myself, if you'd like to check out.
So what
it's
happened on Friday
Socal
with
Guided
you,
Hunts on
Donna?
Facebook. There's a link to the
Friday I
video.
had a sightseeing
There's a
trip.
warning on the
Went
video
through a lot of
because obviously we were hunting,
oak
so
tree
you guys are
fields
aware of
and
that.
saw a lot of things. Did not see a lot of hogs.
What happened on
It was
Friday?
only
What was the terrain like?
the terrain. Well, we were on roads; they were cleared. The terrain was fields and grass, and like I said, a lot of oak trees dotted the whole thing, and some junipers. It smelled really good. It was beautiful, clear skies.
Well, we were on.
It was a nice truck ride.
And it wasn't as hot as Southern California.
No, there was a little breeze. It actually got a little cool towards as the sun was going down.
And did you guys hunt as one big group, your family?
We did, all four of us.
J-Dog, what did you think about Friday?
I thought it was a fun experience. I had a couple chances to shoot hogs. I had 4 chances, and I missed my first 3.
On Friday afternoon?
No, the following day.
Jeremy, what do you
Okay.
think about
So
that?
on Friday afternoon, from what I saw,
flat
we were up there in a nice area. Now,
Sorry.
Big John had been there before. He'd
J-Dog,
seen the
what did you think
potential
about
of some of
Friday?
these ranches that are there.
Thought it was a
But
fun
I think
experience.
spirits were kind of
I had a
low
couple
on
chances to
Friday
shoot
night.
hogs.
We had 12 hunters, only 2 people had tagged out, and not everybody had seen a lot. So it seemed to me that happened.
Well, my daughter and I were looking for those pigs in the barrel.
Pig in a blanket?
Yes, no, in a barrel. They were supposed to be so populated over there that we were going to just walk in Friday, and within, I don't know, the first hour or less, or maybe even on the road up there, we were going to see so many that as soon as we got the go-ahead to shoot, that we were just going to take our pigs and be done, and it was going to be half a trip.
And then you already had appointments made at the nail spa and the winery for the tasting up there.
Right, victory celebration. So they had to wait. They had to be put off until the next day.
So Friday afternoon was a great time. I actually got to take mine on Friday, but it was kind of interesting because, well, we'll tell you that when we come back from our break about how that all worked out. But it was an interesting thing because our guide had spotted the pig. We were able to tell some other people where it was, and we got to watch them do a stalk on it and saw what happened with that. So when we come right back, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about, we'll go through your hunt, Donna, and Big John's over there about the fantastic animal that he took. And you can find all these pictures of all of these animals on our Facebook page, on Firing Line Radio Show on Facebook. This is Philip Naiman. We'll be right back.
The enormous amount of information available to today's investor mean the big picture can be a bit overwhelming. At Andrew Phillips Financial Services, Philip Naiman can help you sort through the clutter, bring your investment goals into focus, and design a portfolio to help meet them. He stays focused on the one thing that matters most, finding well-managed investments one at a time through intensive financial analysis and hands-on research. For more information or to schedule a consultation, call Philip Naiman with Andrew Phillips Financial Services today at 909-335-1861. 909-335-1861. Philip Naiman can help you sort through the clutter. Contact him at 909-335-1861. 909-335-1861. Or visit andrewphillips.us. andrewphillips.us. Securities offered through LPL Financial. Member FINRA SIPC.
Yeah, I think that's about what it came out to, was right around 220, 230, I think.
It was 110 pounds of cut and wrap meat, so that's a pretty good sized animal there. Friday afternoon it was lean. You know, we'd seen more coyotes than we'd seen pigs, and there's a lot of coyotes.
This portion of the Firing Line Radio Show is brought to you by Cannon Safes and Gun Vault Safes.
Hey folks, welcome back to Firing Line Radio Show. This is Philip Naiman. We're talking about our Hamageddon 2013, which was what we named this last weekend. We got to go do a group pig hunt up in King City. We just talked about what happened with Brian, how he got his pig, and he got a couple 100-pound boar, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think that's about what it came out to, was probably around 220, 230, I think.
Yeah, I think it was 110 pounds of cut and wrap meat, so that's a pretty good sized animal there. Friday afternoon, it was lean. You know, we'd seen more coyotes than we'd seen pigs, and there's a lot of coyotes and hunting opportunities up there too. But our guide spotted a bedded hog across the canyon. We radioed for some other people to come down. We got to watch him do a stalk on it, but they weren't able to be successful. And anticipating that, looking that it's a possibility that they wouldn't be successful, I went ahead and set up first. So I went ahead and set up my rifle. We were 515 yards from the bedded pig, but I set up my rifle. I got my dope for my shot, ranged it, dialed it, was ready to go, was laying prone, had my bipod down. I was using my tactical sling. I mean, I was just laying there waiting for somebody to give me a green light. And when they blew the stock, the pig jumped up and ran, and it ran 100 yards straight down the hill from them, and then cut to the left and headed south. Another 100 yards or so, I looked at the guide and said, "Hey, what do you think?" And now the pig's 600 and something yards out there. And he goes, "Well, if you have a shot." So we sent it at about 600 yards. And it was the longest shot I'd made.
I heard it was more like 4, but it's your story. Tell it the way you want.
Oh. No, I had it ranged at 6, and it was interesting, So that was it, and ground shrinkage. I thought it was a lot bigger when I was shooting at him, but ended up with about 75 pounds of cut and wrap meat off of that hog. So that was my day, and what I really liked about it was I enjoy longer shots. I enjoy the hunting part, putting it all together. That's what makes it enjoyable for me. Some guys just like to hang out and, jump something close, and that's great. But I kind of got exactly what I wanted when I went up there. That made it for the weekend for me. And then I was able to help out and spot things the rest of the weekend. So I think the next person to connect was John.
Yes. Hunted all day Saturday, up until just before, I guess maybe it was a little after noon.
So we saw two pigs Friday night. What was Saturday morning like? Did you see a lot of hogs Saturday morning?
Saturday morning, yeah, before the sun was up, they were scouting hogs out in a barley field. But of all those hogs, none of them came our direction when all the calamity broke loose. Because several of the hunters went down in around that field and hunted them out there in the open. And then the hogs break for all the high country right after. And we were not in that spot, so we had no opportunity on Saturday morning.
Yeah, we could have maybe shot up a few trucks because the pigs all ran right past the trucks, and it was the trucks were in between us and the pigs. So we had no sight lines.
I appreciate you not shooting my truck. I really do.
I was so tempted.
I think the pig ran by and they lifted their legs as they went by on the trucks.
They did. They broke right through where we parked.
That's funny.
Yeah.
That's funny. So then, again, you were still hunting all together, the four of you, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And what happened from there?
Well, we hunted all morning, and we were covering a lot of country, and then eventually we broke up. I got on a quad. My son got in a pickup, and
with Luke, I think, right?
Yeah. And then Donna and my daughter stayed in the pickup that they were in.
They were in the Fun V.
Yeah, I'm not sure it was the Fun V.
Not so much Fun V. Well, we had fun. We just had no pigs.
It was funny, that one truck just was not lucky.
No.
Everybody got animals when they got off of that truck and went somewhere else.
Yes, we did.
Yeah, Donna had talked about they should have kill marks on their vehicles so that we know which one to get into.
I think that should be a prerequisite for when they come to choosing what you're going to get into. I want to see on their doors like the fighter pilots do on their planes. Yeah. I want to see who's got the kills, and then the ones that didn't, I want an explanation. And then I think I'll still go with the kills.
Okay, so then you moved up, and I think you were hunting with JD when you got your pig?
Actually, I was on the quad with Nesson Jr., and the guys got together and talked about what areas they were going to hunt. And retrospectively looking, they went to where pigs would be. Not far from water, not far from food, and not far from shade.
Right.
They only had like 600 yards to get down to all of that. So we found a boatload of pigs up in that area. And I guess we had hunters on multiple ridges, and I was the first one to take a shot in that situation where that big belted hog came up out of there because he was bedded down just below us to the left, and I hit him as he was just cresting over the top, right in the side, removed his will to live, and Josh, my son, ended up finishing him, thus removing his spirit.
And now this pig, there's a picture of him, and pig is a good description of what this thing is. This is one of the largest boars I've ever seen taken, and it's definitely in the last 25 years. This was a moose that you shot.
Yeah.
The tusks, I mean, his upper cutters are so thick and so wide, you don't see that at all.
No.
You can see some long, thin ones, but this was a fat, old beast.
Wait, you know what? He didn't smell bad.
I didn't say old smelling. I said fat and old.
I took a whiff at him and told the butcher to take a look at him too, but he looked like a side of beef hanging up there.
Oh, he did.
And what about his armor plate? That was pretty thick, you tell me.
Yeah, that was about an inch and a half thick.
Yeah. Yeah, and what they're talking about there, the armor plate is actually this cartilage that grows over the shoulder bone of a male pig or a boar. And so when they fight, their tusks don't penetrate deep into the tissue. They actually just have a cut in the cartilage, it heals over, and it's made for that. It's been known to stop arrows.
And bullets.
Well, that's what they say.
No. I have carved one out of a hog, so.
Yeah, you need to get a bigger gun if your bullet's stopping in the cartilage. That's all.
It was a 30-06.
So, I guess on the other side it could stop. But anyway, That's what that's for, and they call it the armor plating. But this pig, if you go to the Firing Line Facebook page and see a picture of this thing, it's a belted hog, you'll notice his hocks, the front leg of this thing, probably had about a 15-inch diameter girth, didn't it?
He was husky.
I'm just glad I didn't have to pull that one out.
Yeah.
So while this was going on, some other pigs went down the hill. I was with Donna, Belladonna, and her daughter in the Fun V, and we jumped out and we went down a ridge line. Her daughter and I went down a ridge line, through some barbed wire, over the other side.
Covered a lot of ground very quickly.
It was downhill. It was easy. So we ran down there, and we're cutting off this canyon to stop everything from going through. And your daughter, how old is she?
She's 20.
20 years old. So, and she'd never taken a large animal before either,
No,
right?
no, just birds.
And she's shooting a 270. So we get down there, and she was afraid that they'd all run off this mountain because she's got great eyesight. She saw some animals about half a mile away, and I wasn't convinced that they were the same ones. I thought, no, they're not that fast. Or I'm not that slow. Well, okay, I am that slow, but they're not that fast. So we stayed on this ridge line, and sure enough, some more pigs came down, and she made a great shot at about 110 yards. Just dumped him. She dumped the sow as it came over the hill and down a canyon.
Broke her back.
And she dumped it. And what I mean by that is it fell in a hole. Then I had to go get this pig and pull it up out of this hole. And I remember I crossed the canyon and I get over there to it and it was done. And I looked up at her and said, "You better go get some help because it ain't coming out of this hole." And 40 minutes later when no one showed up, I said, okay, I just got to move this thing myself, and had to haul it out of there. So, great shot, but if she would have done it correctly, she would have hit us so it fell by the road. So that's the second part of hunting, is to land them correctly.
Yeah, we'll make sure she knows that you said that.
Absolutely. And then so right after I hauled her pig out, I saw you go by, JD, and you were running in the back of a white truck and heading down to the riverbed. So what happened there?
My guide, Luke, set me up with a rather easy shot because I had missed several times before. My pig was only about 30 yards away, so it was a pretty easy shot.
So then you're able, it's like we hit this one area where all the pigs were, because Friday night we were where they weren't. And Saturday we were in Hamageddon. So we're going to bring that back. We'll talk about Donna's fill it out at the end, what happened on that on the next segment. That's our producer, Dangerous Dan, the pig farmer. Thank you, Dan. Wouldn't be the same without you. Anyway, folks, we went out to King City. I was there with Socal Hunts, with Brian Keenan, with John Belladonna, and J-Dog. We had a great time. 12 for 12 hunters, 12 pigs. We had an absolutely great time. We're going to go back out there next year and do another hunt in November. We'll be right back after this.
That's all, folks.
This portion of the Firing Line Radio Show is brought to you by Andrew Phillips Financial Services.
Hey folks, welcome back to Firing Line Radio Show. This is Philip Naiman. Again, we're here with Big John Belladonna, J-Dog, and Brian Keenan of Socal Guided Hunts. Socal Guided Hunts is a great company out here if you're interested in doing some coyote hunting. Right now you're doing coyotes, is that right? Yeah, coyote hunting. I think he's going to be open for the bear season and deer season in the D14 area.
Yeah, that's correct. Actually, I'm heading out this weekend with Bobby McGee, taking him out, doing a little bit of stalking.
Now, Bobby McGee is from?
Safariland.
Team Safariland.
Yeah, Team Safariland. He shoots IDPA. I think he won second place here at the last shoot that he just done a couple weeks ago. So
Grandmaster.
Yeah, he's a grandmaster. So.
Hey, Brian, can you tell me where that location is that you do your hunts out of? I'm not familiar with that region.
Far as which hunts, I hunt anywhere from
whatever you do. San
Diego north past Barstow. A lot of predator hunting, deer, bear. Got some upland game bird. I got pheasant, turkey hunts down in San Diego. So you name it, I can pretty much get it for you.
Okay.
Yeah, the D14 zone is the local deer zone for San Bernardino Forest, and that's pretty much what you guys focus on during that, as opposed to D11 or some of the other ones that are in this area. So. So let's going back to the hunt here. We're up there in King City. Beautiful day. A little bit of fog in the valley. Nice temperature. Riding around in the Fun V. Finally, Josh just picks up and gets his last pig, and then we're down to 2 people that were filling it out. And who was one of those?
Me.
Tell us about your hunt.
I wasn't happy at that point. The only things I'd seen to really shoot at were little ones, and I had talked with John, my husband, before the hunt, and I just thought, well, we decided we weren't going to go for the little sows and their little piglets, going to leave them alone. So I had quite a few opportunities for those on when all those pigs were running Saturday. But here it was, I don't know, a little bit after 12, and everybody but me and another guy had their pigs. So I went off with Ness on the quad and enjoyed that ride, but enjoyed it more when we got to where we were going to. And between him and JD, they found us a nice ravine, and I took off with Nesson, and we started hiking down a ravine, and he was trying to show me where they were. I kept scoping him. I didn't see him. I just told him I'd take it by faith. Went down there, and then he was asking me how I had sighted the gun in. And
what were you shooting?
I was shooting a Winchester 243, and had not shot pig before. And so anyway, my husband had said, when you're going to shoot, take aim behind the shoulder and do that. So that was my game plan.
Was it part of your game plan to send him in, and you stayed out hunting?
Yeah, no. I really wanted him with me, but at the same time, I thought, well, I can do this. I hear his voice in my head, giving me some instruction along the way. So anyway, we started heading down the ravine, and then Ness wanted to get us closer, but as he was heading down, I told him the pigs were on the move, so he was like, okay, sit down, let's take the shot. Well, being height challenged, sitting down, I couldn't see anything but bush and brush, so I...
you gotta be taller than the grass, don't it?
Yeah, I know. So we'll talk about that later. Anyway, so I took a shot across the ravine. He said it was about 175, 200 yards, and...
Offhand?
Offhand, I just...
walking pigs?
Yes. And they're walking, and
how many times did you have to shoot?
I shot once, behind the shoulder.
I'm a witness to that.
She's gone.
I was on the other ridge with my buddy Steve, and we seen you take your shot. It was excellent placement. We got to hand it to you.
You know what? I was real excited, and I was real calm up to that point. And then I did hear someone over at your part of the woods yelling, it was a great shot. And Ness was all excited, and I think I shocked him because he said they don't hunt with too many women. And then the fact that I actually could hit it, he was really enthusiastic. He started to hug, and then it was like, no, maybe that's not right. So he did like a awkward high five, and then he just, yeah, that's so great, that's so great. Well, then I started shaking because then I was really excited, and I thought, wow, I did it, and it worked. So I was really excited.
Congratulations. Two things that were really to congratulate you about. Great shot and great decision making, not hugging Ness. So this trip, you guys went up as a family, which is really why I wanted to have you guys come in here today, and that's great. Everybody else was kind of on their own or booked through Brian. So what was nice about it was a weekend where you guys even stayed an extra day and took your time coming home, right?
Well, we left there Saturday. They had a barbecue.
Oh, you did leave Saturday.
The barbecue was excellent.
Yep.
I have to highly recommend the butcher. I guess Lino was the cook, and then I guess Brandy, which is I guess Mike's wife.
Daughter, yeah.
Yeah, and she made some wonderful salads and food and great brownies, which I don't normally enjoy, but they were well worth the calories. And steak was excellent. Like I said, it was very tender and flavorful, and just the friendly people.
That's what I liked about it, and that's why we decided to do the barbecue again. Was everybody's coming from somewhere else, so and you're hunting in small groups. So the only chance you really have of hanging out and talking and enjoying it is really at the Saturday afternoon barbecue. So I'm glad we did that. It was and plus the prime rib the ribeye was mighty fine.
Ribeye was good. As a family, it was fun. We've hunted before as a family, but typically pheasants. This was really good, and I think my son and my daughter are excellent shots, which makes it really nice, and had a good trainer in my husband for all of us, so that was good.
Next time you just have to outshoot your husband, and then it makes it that much better.
Yeah, I would have liked to have gotten a larger pig, but my pick was, she was a sow, but she was pretty good. She was pretty good size.
No, it was a good size pig. Well, frankly, John got the biggest one for the weekend. It was, and the biggest one for several years from what I've seen. That was an absolute stoking monster pig.
Well, the guides had not seen a pig like that in a long time. They called him old school.
Old school.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
they said
were
he was
talking
more
about you.
Russian.
They were-
Had that
Yeah, he's
all
old
mixed
school
up.
too.
It's okay. I was in the same group. They said, I remember I asked, I said, on the radio, they said somebody shot a really big one. And I said, well, who was it? They said, oh, it was that mountain man guy.
It's because he's sporting a beard. He's like Duck Dynasty here.
So, J-Dog there, what would you tell somebody if they asked you about this particular type of hunt?
To practice before you go hunting.
You know what? That is absolutely crucial. And did you practice before you went hunting?
Not enough, but we did go out and sight our guns.
Okay. And the other thing is when you're sighting in your guns, we're sitting at a bench or maybe the bipod's down, but it's controlled. And then what happens? You end up shooting offhand, you're laying down prone, you're in the weeds, you're sitting. It's all different positions. So what position were you in when you actually shot?
I took my last shot kneeling.
Okay, and the other ones that you took?
Standing up.
All standing. And had you practiced that?
No. So I highly recommend moving around when you're practicing.
Absolutely. You know, we did I did a shootout at South Corona Sportsman's Club, and the second Saturday of each month they have something called running deer. It's a target, and it's about 50 yards of target moving, and it's the size of a deer, it's a big paper thing, and you've got 5 shots as it crosses this area. And it's going slow enough if getting 5 shots isn't a big deal, but you're practicing each of the shooting positions on a moving target. You can't get that anywhere else, so I highly recommend that. Second Saturday of the month, Southern Corona Sportsman's Club. How about you, John? Would you are you coming back out with us next year?
Yeah, I will. I did think about afterwards though, when those situations, when pigs just start erupting like that, and you're not putting a stock on them or anything, you don't have much time. And I think offhand shooting, maybe timing yourself to get so many bullets out of your gun on a target, and holding a particular group size would be critical.
You know, and that's one of the things is Brian Poor, he runs Premier Rifle Academies. I took some classes with him. And, you know, you're shooting the targets, you're shooting a silhouette or metal gongs, and that's all nice and easy. But you do something simple, like you take your watch and say, okay, I'm going to time you now. Mm-hmm. And just that little thing puts a little inducement of stress into it. And all of a sudden, guys start making mistakes. They short shuck the bolt, dump the magazine. It's funny. It really is funny when you just say, okay, now do it for money.
Yeah,
you know,
or
for time.
Or you got the guide standing by and you shoot him.
Oh, yes, they were real excitable. And I know they wanted you to have your pig, but hearing that shoot, and I was glad John did give me that warning. So when I heard it, I wasn't going to give in to that. I just waited for one that was good.
Ask, should I aim first or just shoot?
No, that was in my mind though. And just the exhale on the pulling of the trigger, which we had learned a long time ago when we used to shoot pistol silhouettes. So
Brian, wrap it up for us.
I would, the rest of our listeners out there that did go on the hog hunt with us, I'd like to thank you guys for booking the hog hunt through either Philip or myself, and hope to see you come out and have some more fun with us. And John, Belladonna, again, thanks, and your son, love having you guys out and love to shoot with you guys again. So if you guys want to do some predator hunting or something like that, you guys have my number. You guys know how to find me.
Great.
Very good.
Is that Socal Guided Hunts?
Yeah, or you can find me on Facebook, Socal Guided Hunts.
Socal Guided Hunts. Folks, Firing Line Radio Show, firinglineradio.com, or on Facebook, Firing Line Radio Show. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for last weekend. Enjoyed having you. Thanks again.
The Firing Line Radio Show was brought to you by Bullseye Sports in Riverside, Cannon Safes and Gun Vault Safes, and Andrew Phillips Financial Services.
The enormous amount of information available to today's investor mean the big picture can be a bit overwhelming. At Andrew Phillips Financial Services, Philip Naiman can help you sort through the clutter, bring your investment goals into focus, and design a portfolio to help meet them. He stays focused on the one thing that matters most, finding well-managed investments one at a time through intensive financial analysis and hands-on research. For more information or to schedule a consultation, call Philip Naiman with Andrew Phillips Financial Services today at 909-335-1861, 909-335-1861. Philip Naiman can help you sort through the clutter. Contact him at 909-335-1861, 909-335-1861, or visit andrewphillips.us. andrewphillips.us. Securities offered through LPL Financial, member FINRA SIPC.